What's up, military millionaires? Last week, we talked about the different kinds of military life insurance options available to you, and this week, I want to touch on all of the other kinds of insurance that you should be aware of, and I want to touch on my thoughts on how to use them to mitigate your risk. So the first is renter's insurance for yourself. Now, what it is. Renter's insurance is available to persons who are renting or subletting their residence. This property insurance provides coverage for policyholders' liabilities, belongings, and potentially even living expenses. So when might you need renter's insurance? You should use it at any time that you are renting a residence. Yes, that includes base housing or even the barracks room. So some pros. It protects your belongings in the event that something happens in your residence. This could be flooding, fire, etc. For example, my barracks room flooded when I was a sergeant, and the Marine above me got drunk and passed out on the shower, and it stopped up and flooded. But my laptop got destroyed, and the renter's insurance was able to replace my laptop. Now, renter's insurance also gives you a sense of safety for your belongings and assets. If something gets destroyed, you can replace it without having to utilize a credit card, which is great. This insurance is extremely affordable for the amount of coverage you get, which is just another great feature. It doesn't cost much. Some of the cons, it is just another cost, although small, and depending on your coverage choices, it might have a high deductible. My thoughts on renter's insurance are don't spend so much money on renter's insurance that it eats into your finances, but I believe it's a smart move to pay for renter's insurance if you have any expensive items, because it's just better to have insurance than not. Next up is property insurance. So what is property insurance? It is a broad term for various different policies that provide either property protection or liability coverage for property owners. So there's a homeowner's insurance, renter's insurance, flood insurance, earthquake insurance, etc. Now, there are three types of property insurance coverage: replacement cost, extended replacement cost, and actual cash value. Replacement cost covers the cost of repairing or replacing your property at equal value. Extended replacement costs will pay more than the coverage limit if the cost of construction has gone up, but it usually won't exceed 25% of the limit. Actual cash value pays the owner the replacement cost minus depreciation, meaning that the older a property it is, the less you will get paid out if it's destroyed. All right, now, when you might use property insurance? You really don't have a choice here. Nobody will lend you money to purchase a property without it, all right? Some of the pros: it will repair or replace your property if something goes bad while you own it. This will cover your butt in the case of an emergency, major storm, or other issues that threaten the existence of your property. All right, some of the cons are that homeowner's insurance is another expense that you must be factored into your expenses when purchasing real estate. And there aren't really any other cons, in my opinion, because this is insurance that you need and you want to have on your property. The worst thing in the world I can imagine with a rental would be having it get destroyed and not having insurance. Like, that would just suck. My thoughts on property insurance are just shop around for the best rates rather than just sticking with a bank, because that's who you've always used previously. Many insurers will give you discounts for having all your policies under one roof, so definitely pay for homeowners insurance. That's it. Landlord insurance. What is this? Landlord insurance is very similar to homeowners insurance, but for landlords. Makes sense, right? Look, these policies can cover property damage, liability protection, and lost rental income depending on what you need. You could also pay for guaranteed income insurance, flood insurance, emergency coverage, etc. to cover the various needs of your landlord-ishness, whatever landlord needs, I don't know. When you might use it: when you own a rental property or other real estate investments that homeowners insurance does not cover adequately. And yes, you want this insurance. All right, pros. Landlord insurance is quite versatile. It can even cover rent payments if you want. You can deduct the cost of landlord insurance on your tax return, which is great. And lots of insurance companies to shop rates with. So you have options. Some of the cons are that it's more expensive than regular homeowners insurance. It is, as always, an additional expense to budget for as a landlord. Now, these policies can be complicated, which is a con, but that's what you have insurance people for. My thoughts are, I have landlord insurance on all my rental properties. Though I don't personally utilize the rental income insurance benefits, because I would prefer to budget for these with cash reserves rather than pay a higher premium when unnecessary. Now, definitely utilize landlord insurance if you own multiple rental properties. Otherwise, just stick with homeowners insurance for your primary residence. That's the easiest way to do it, right? All right, auto insurance. If you don't know what this is, auto insurance is a policy vehicle owners maintain in order to mitigate the costs associated with an automobile accident. This insurance is also required in the United States, so you need to have it. It's just a pointless ticket if you don't have it, and you could get screwed if you get it right. Like, look, you can get property insurance, liability, medical, bodily injury, liability, property damage, liability, and several other types of auto insurance. So when you might use it? From the moment you purchase a car until the moment you sell it. There is no reason to fight this. If you own a vehicle that drives, you need to insure it. All right, pros. Covers hit and runs accidents, covers medical bills, will cover the replacement of your vehicle, covers you in case of any vehicular incident, and you won't get a citation for failure to provide proof of insurance, which is just stupid to get a ticket for that. Like, just pointless. So just insure your vehicle, right? It's not that expensive, especially if you have a decent driving record. All right, look, the cons are that it can be expensive depending on your driving record. It can also be expensive depending on the amount of coverage you're paying for. So if you want like a minimal premium and have a really expensive car, it might be somewhat pricey. The premiums will increase after claiming benefits, which means that if you have a string of accidents or you get a DUI, your insurance will become even more expensive. So that's not good. Now, it's not the case if you weren't at fault for the incident, which is good. All right, my thoughts. You need to have auto insurance. There's no excuse for not having auto insurance. This is probably the most common type of insurance coverage that you will see. And as with all insurance, I recommend shopping around in order to get the best pricing. Also, just be a safe driver in order to ensure that your insurance isn't outrageously expensive. All right, the final thing I want to talk to you about is umbrella insurance. And this one's not as well known, but what is umbrella insurance? This picks up where your other insurance policies leave off. So for example, suppose you own a rental property and you found yourself in a lawsuit for whatever reason. If you lost that lawsuit and the sum is greater than what your existing insurance will pay, umbrella insurance will step on in and save you. The last thing you want is to have to eat into your savings to cover something that should have been avoided, right? Umbrella insurance will pick up where your watercraft's liability insurance leaves off. Your auto insurance, your homeowner's insurance, and even certain liability claims such as slander, libel, or false imprisonment, etc. So when you might use it? Umbrella insurance is a great safety net to have in place to insure you against a worst case scenario. If you're scared of the lawsuit happy world we live in, this could be a good hedge to purchase. Some of the pros to umbrella insurance are that it provides extra liability coverage and legal defense costs once the limits of your insurance have been exhausted. Now it starts at $1 million in coverage, so it's a higher level of coverage, and it covers unique incidents that your main insurance might not. It often applies worldwide, and it's inexpensive for the amount of coverage that you're receiving, because hopefully you never need to tap into it. Now, some of the cons are that you must carry auto and or property insurance prior to being able to utilize this. You might be required to have a minimum amount of auto or property insurance before you can add umbrella insurance, depending on what you own, and it doesn't cover damage to your own property. This is liability insurance, so you know, that is what it is. It's not going to cover damage incurred in business or professional activities which would require business liability insurance. Now, it doesn't cover liability you agreed to assume under a contract that you signed. So if you assume the liability, you assumed it. And you are paying for insurance coverage that you may never need. So that stinks, but better to have it and not need it. Hopefully you never need to use umbrella insurance, but this is definitely a case of I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it, in case you haven't heard me repeat that a few times because it's important. Umbrella insurance is smart if you have large assets, large savings, partake in activities that can open you up to potential lawsuits. You need to determine your insurance needs, and you need to don't get sold insurance. Do your research and buy on your terms. Don't let fear talk you into paying way more for insurance than you need. Always maintain home, auto, renters, and life insurance. And the caveat is when you have the money to cover yourself, then self-cover with your own cash. So the types of insurance coverage, these 5 types of insurance coverage are all important to understand because it's not something you want to skimp on. You should always be sure to cover your ass in case of an unexpected emergency. So look, guys, I'm not telling you have to have all this insurance. I don't necessarily have all this. I haven't bought an umbrella policy yet, but I need to. In fact, I'm probably going to right now. But definitely make sure that you've got your butt covered because in a worst case scenario, the last thing you want is to hear that insurance isn't going to cover you when you could have paid for insurance. So rather have it and not need it. That's all I got. Make sure you subscribe and smash that like button if you got something out of this video. Thanks and have a great day.